My name is James Schott, and I'm here to speak as president of the Board of Supervisors of the Delta County Conservation District. The Delta County Conservation District was created under the Colorado Soil Conservation Act and is a legal subdivision of the state of Colorado, as well as an active partner with other agencies such as the Natural Resource Conservation Service. Conservation districts exist to represent the agricultural interests of the landowners in the district and is governed by a board of supervisors elected by those landowners. The mission of the Delta Conservation District is to provide leadership and to promote programs that will encourage people to improve and sustain our natural resources and environment. Chief among the district's objectives is to promote the proper use of agricultural land, protect it from all forms of deterioration. The first key conservation concern in this regard is water. Quote from our plan, "Water is by far the most important part of good health for animal and plant life," unquote. The availability of adequate, healthy water is the keystone of all living plants and animals in this district. The Conservation District has, over the past few years, located all the ditches in the North Fork Valley, which is the area most impacted by the proposed leases. We have created a map that combines the ditches and the proposed lease sites together. We do not have the time here to detail the unique impact that each of these proposed leases could possibly have on each of the ditches. However, the following proposed sites, 6191, 6195, 6196, 6207, 6205, 6190, 6197, 6193, 6189, and 6200 all have potential impact on the following irrigation water sources: Fire Mountain Canal, Paonia Reservoir, Stewart Ditch, Paonia Ditch, North Fork River, Lone Cabin Ditch, Turner Ditch, Saddle Mountain Ditch. The potential impacts include fracking with undisclosed chemicals, taking water for drilling purposes, road building, groundwater contamination, increased erosion from disturbed land, ditch damage from vibration, pipeline construction, increased vehicle traffic. All are potential factors that could degrade the water availability and quality and the nature of our agricultural community. We encourage our elected officials and public servants to carefully assess the potential impact before placing these parcels up for lease. It seems prudent to at least complete an updated environmental impact statement before placing them up for lease. Thank you. And I'd like to take the rest of my time as a private citizen and the owner of a small farm on Lamborn Mesa to say that 6189, 6194, and 6193 directly affect my water.
My name, excuse me, I have a cold. My name is Ulrich Lang, and my wife Inge and I came to the United States back from Germany, Berlin, in 1964. I'm a retired mining engineer. I spent all my professional life in and around coal mining, which also brought my wife and me to Paonia. We are connected to Paonia since 1992, 20 years. I herewith request that the Bureau of Land Management withdraws 22 parcels in Delta and Gunnison counties from the August 2012 lease sale. The reasons for my request are as follows. The current resource management plan, adopted in 1989, is out of date and insufficient. It does not provide a realistic and up-to-date overview of fossil fuel resources in the North Fork Valley. In addition to withdrawing these 22 parcels, BLM should also defer offering any other lands for lease until the resources management plan has been revised. I spoke with local geologists familiar with the geology of western Colorado. Their opinion in studying the local geology tells me that the presence of economically viable gas deposits in the North Fork Valley are highly questionable. South of the Grand Mesa, the gas-bearing Mancos Shale is on the surface and no overlaying seals exist to trap any potential gas. Over millions of years, any gas most likely drained into the atmosphere. I spoke with the president of one of the leading gas producers in the area, and he told me that his company is not bidding on any parcels in Delta County. I wonder why. The rumor alone of possible future drilling, fracking, water contamination, etc., has already a chilling effect on real estate market and other businesses by casting a cloud of uncertainty over the entire North Fork Valley. People trying to sell their homes have difficult time to do so at reasonable prices. Potential buyers shy away due to the unsettled situation. The economy as a whole will suffer if this type of uncertainty continues. BLM must inform the public about its real intention and background of the lease sale, if not future gas production, is to be expected. Like I said, rumors can do lasting harm to entire communities. Thank you.
Well, if I had known that those lights were here, I would have brought my sunglasses. I'm Gene Goff, and my wife Barb and I live on Fruitland Mesa. We're about 1.5 miles to 3 miles from the parcels that have been nominated on the south rim of the Smith Fork. So my first question to BLM is, there are more parcels owned by BLM along the south rim, and they would make a good bike and trail system. They're almost contiguous. Why isn't BLM looking into that to attract tourism to the area? Tourism lasts forever, oil and gas does not. So, second thing is, I want to thank CHC and Gail Schwartz for putting on this meeting, something that BLM does not afford us. I'm reminded in 2006, my wife and I were in northern Canada, and we landed in the little town and Inuit village of Tuktoyaktuk on the Arctic Ocean. And when we got there, we found there was an oil and gas hearing. The Canadian government put it on. The oil and gas companies had to appear and speak, the government people, and of course the village residents. They got more than 3 minutes each, by the way. The hearing went on for a week. Why isn't the BLM having this kind of hearing? Not an open house, but a real meeting with the citizens.
That's it.
Thirdly, I call for all the parcels to be withdrawn. There's no economic justification for this. Chesapeake Energy, a big developer in the east mainly, just announced last week that it was cutting back on its drilling. There's a gas glut in this country. Gas prices are at a 10-year low. Why are they doing this? There are enormous fields in North Dakota where there are far fewer people and a much stronger economy than in the North Fork. There's gas in New York and Pennsylvania, around Fort Worth, Texas, and other places. They're already being developed. We don't need more natural gas. I believe this to be speculation. There are scores, hundreds, maybe thousands of leases that are being held and are not being developed all over the country. So what do we need more for? The only reason I can imagine is that these companies know they'll go for very low prices and they can hold them for 10 or 20 years in the hope that someday they can sell them. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Jim.
My name is Eugenie McGuire, and with my husband Ken, we run a small farm on Garvin Mesa, completely surrounded by parcel 6207. We also have a business in town, we're associates. We are here today to ask the BLM to permanently remove all 22 parcels in the North Fork Valley. We, the North Fork residents, do not participate in any of the economic rewards of mineral extraction, and therefore we do not wish to accept any of the risks. These risks
Oogie,
cannot
a
be
little
mitigated.
closer to the mic, a little closer to the mic, thank you.
These risks cannot be mitigated or offset and could destroy our entire farm. They will also continue for decades, long past the time any company would be responsible for the cleanup or fixing the problems caused by those drilling activities. Our flock of Black Welsh Mountain sheep is the largest in all of North America. We currently own over 10% of the entire North American population and over 30% of the breeding population. As documented in a recent USDA research paper, Black Welsh Mountain sheep are not closely related to any other breed of domestic sheep in the U.S. As such, they represent a storehouse of unique genes that are important for preserving genetic diversity and promoting food resilience. Anything that threatens the reproductive ability or survival of our flock poses a huge threat to this breed in North America and will reduce the ability of the sheep industry to weather the storms of changing climate, consumer needs, and disease threats. Genetic diversity, once lost, can never be regained. We are also a cooperating flock for the USDA for 7 years as a research flock. Our multi-year project depends on accurate records of the fecundity and fertility of our flock based on historical data and unaffected by outside environmental impacts. If oil and gas drilling is allowed anywhere in our valley, the resulting air, water, and particulate pollution, as well as the increased exposure to endocrine-disrupting chemicals, ozone, and other contaminants will impact our ability to be a valid research for the United States Department of Agriculture. If the waters of the Terror Ditch and Reservoir Company watershed are contaminated, this represents a significant loss to shareholders. There are 200 shares of water in TDRC, and there have been offers to buy shares at $5,000 per share that were not accepted. That represents $1 million of capital that is potentially at risk. And this figure does not include the value of the lands, hay, wines, meat, and other products produced using that water. And we're a tiny water company. Currently in Colorado, a reclamation bond is required for all wells, but these bonds are so low that companies can choose to walk away, leaving a mess for the taxpayers to clean up. There have been seismic problems, including a 3.0 earthquake in October of 2011 at 15,000 feet, far deeper than any mining activity and within the range where the drilling might occur. Parcels 6207 and 6189 have a mile of direct exposure to the Fire Mountain Canal, and these are the reasons that we feel that all parcels should be removed from consideration permanently.